teacher. Teaches in a little village, a very traditional village where almost everybody has the same last name. And when I visit with Ollie and his wife Maria and their kids, I love to ask them questions. Recently I asked Ollie, how can you Swiss people so docilely pay such high taxes? And without missing a beat, he said, well, what's it worth to live in a country where there's no homelessness, no hunger, and where everybody, regardless of the wealth of their parents, has access to quality health care and education? Now, Ollie is not a crusader. Ollie's just a capitalist with a European social ethic. And it's interesting to learn from them. One thing that's occurred to me recently is Americans are loving, compassionate people, but we're not very good at grappling with the gap between the rich and the poor. There's something in our upbringing that makes it very tough to deal with that honestly. When you travel, you have the poor reaching into your window. You can't escape it if you're traveling honestly. And for 30 years, I've had the poor reaching in my window. And it's been a powerful impact in the value of my travel. And I'll tell you, I've learned that even if you're motivated only by greed, if you know what's good for you, you don't want to be filthy rich in a desperately poor world. It's just not a pretty picture. I was down in El Salvador last Christmas. Any middle-class neighborhood has to pool its money to have an armed guard on the corner just to protect them from angry poor people. And you don't want to raise your kids behind designer fortifications. We are on a track to that if we don't learn from the other parts of the world that have not dealt with this very smartly. Let me finish by taking you to Turkey. I just love Turkey, and as a tour guide, I had the chance to take a group to get to know a whirling dervish. I knew this dervish, and I asked him, can our group come and watch you pray? And he said, well, I'm not a photo op. And if you can watch me pray, but I want you to know what I'm doing. I said, great. So we went up onto his roof, the sun was setting, he was wearing his robe and his hat, and he said, and I'll just paraphrase it, he said, I'm a dervish, that's like a monk that follows Mevlana, who was a sort of a teacher in Islam like St. Francis was in Christianity, a real teacher of love. And as a dervish, I pray 5 times a day, meditating on the teachings of Mevlana. I plant one foot in my community, in my home,